All right. Welcome everyone to Database Programming in Practice, or in short, DBP. In this course, we're going to talk a lot about the word database, which is going to be our core terms that we're going to talk about throughout this 15 weeks. So far, you have learned many basic programming constructs, whether it is input, output, if, else, for loop, while loop, function, also practices in programming. Right. Now, we'll step up the game by dealing with write a program to deal with the data. But you may think that, hey, when I in my previous semester, I have already learned how to handle inputs, which is data from the users. And then I also learned how to display the data as an output. Well, those input handling and output, they are limited. How about you want to gather like millions of data? You you don't want your user to like type in your data millions times, right? Also, why processings? Why like you're running a programs? The data stored in the programs in the variables, there's gonna be gone once you close your computers or once that your program stop. And you don't want that. Sometimes and sometimes you don't want that, especially for a long running process. Like for example, the receipt. Let's say you want to create like the receipt applications that gonna run for days. You don't want to just store your inputs into a list in Python because because let's say your computers accidentally uh get turned off, all of those data are gone. How are you going to keep those data alive? Also, if you have a lot of data, you need to have a strategies to make sure that the access to the data is as fast as possible. Otherwise, you need to take a lot of time managing a large amount of data. You need to have a strategies, a good way to deal with a very large data. And finally, we're going to learn about a very popular language to interact with the system that are very good for managing data, which is the SQL language, right? I'm not going to talk about the next semester and the further on. Ask your senior students, okay? So for this lecture number one, we're going to talk about database, the word database, and that's it. Also, we're going to talk about the cost as well, how this course works, how are we going to evaluate you, right? Who are the teaching assistants, um, and also what are you gonna face, right? So you know me already. My name's Kai. Currently a PhD candidate at Carnegie Mellon Universities. Um, the thing is that my interest, both of them, the query processing optimizations, high performance database system, they are both about databases. So I can clearly claim that I love database and I love it a lot. I love it a lot that my PhD is about database. And not many people sacrifice life for database. Okay. So let's talk about the teaching assistant that they're gonna help you throughout this course. So we have 5 teaching assistants, so not as many as last semester, but I believe that in terms of quality, they are almost equivalent. We also have like 2 head teaching assistants from 5, which are whom, as you know, he is like developer of Forum and BigQ, in which you're gonna use them in this course as well. Um, he is also an AI researcher at NateTech as well. He just published a paper, I believe it's about AI. So if you are interested in AI, you may want to talk with him. Also, he has been a teaching assistant for this course before in my last offerings, so he know the materials quite well. Next, Indy. He is a president of Kim Chae-won Thailand fan club. Um, yeah, as you can see on in the image that he did have a picture with Kim Chae-won, right? As you can see in the image, right? That's real. That's the real image, you know. Never mind. He's also doing research, helping me doing research at CMKL universities. He's also a teaching assistant last year as well in the database programming in practice course. So he's another guy who will know the materials of this course quite well. Another guy, Nung, he's also he has been a teaching assistant last year as well. So he know a lot, quite a lot. All right. Next is Ash. Ash, she is a student in your program's DT. She's got like she nailed my exam last year, and she's so good that I need to invite her to be one of our TA. Right. Last one is Audie. I believe that you know him from the version control lab last semester. Right. He's gonna help us out in this course as well. So we have all of these five teaching assistants. For the for Poom, Indy, and Nung, both of all three of them, they will deliver you some labs as well. Right. Let's talk about the logistics of the course. So as you may know from the course schedules, so we have the lecture and the lab time schedules on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Some lab and lectures, we are not like specific we are not making all the labs be on Wednesday, and we are not making all the lectures be on Tuesday. Those gonna be like mixed. You could see some lab in uh the Tuesday, you could see some lecture in Wednesday. I mean, actually most of the lab will be on Tuesday. Okay. So the locations, we're gonna use room 102, in which I believe that you are all familiar with it. Right. For the course schedules, please check it out on the course website. I post schedules on it, so the schedules should be solid right now, but there could be some changes as well. So please stay tuned. But if there is a change, I will tell you. All right. Also, this is really important. If you see this logo, a laptop icon, means that at in that sessions, we expect you to bring your own computers. If you don't have your own computers, please talk with the staff, the K-DAI staff, so that they can provide you a laptop. They can like lend you a laptop. Okay. Well, this is also important, but I talk a lot about it a lot. So this is really important. If you cannot follow me in the lecture, you cannot follow TA in the lab, please interrupt us. Okay? If you have any questions, please interrupt us at that moment. Okay, at that moment. Just raise your hand or send some signal. Okay? Because your questions, even though you may think that it is stupid, it's not stupid. And some of your friends may be afraid to ask that question as well. So just be friendly. Just raise your hand to ask us. Okay? Especially when you do not understand what we say. You can just raise your hand. Hey, I don't understand this. What the hell are you talking about? Your teaching sucks. Can you repeat this again? Just tell us that away. Okay, that's a lot better than you just sit down and let the time flies without understanding the things. It's useless. Okay, you spend like 4 hours per week for this course, and if you don't get things, then I don't think you need to attend the class. Okay. I need to make a note that I'm still in the States, but I will be back in Thailand in the middle of December. So the first 4 weeks of this course will be online in only for lectures, but for lab we will do it on site. Okay, we will do it on site by our awesome TA. Right, let's get into the topic today. Welcome everyone to the world of databases. But before we can talk about databases, databases consist of two words, data and base. So let's talk about what is data. Data, given the Oxford Learner Dictionaries, data are facts or information, especially when examined and used to find out things or to make decisions. Key terms are data are facts or informations that we can use to make decisions. Um, Not always that you need to use data for making decisions, but using data for making decisions will give you an edge. Let's see an example. Let's say you are a let's say you go to hospital meeting with your physicians or your doctors, right? The first thing, maybe not a doctors, not even a doctors, nurse or the registration staff, they will ask you, how have you been? What are you feeling right now? Did you feel any illness? Did you feel like ill? Are you sick? Do you have any fever? Are you coughing? So on and so forth, right? They ask you questions so that they gather data from you, right? They gather like symptoms from you, and then they're gonna use some instruments to assess you, like the uh they use thermometers to measure your body temperatures, right? Uh they use like an some machine to measure your blood pressure. Those those things, those machines, those instruments will get the data from you. And those data, temperature, blood pressure, symptoms, those are data that it will be given to physicians, and they will use it to make a decision of what is your illness, right? Even though they cannot guarantee, they cannot like exactly saying that, okay, this is your illness, but based on the number of informations, they can scope down the type of disease given like the data that they have. Let's say if they don't have any data, if you just like walk in, okay, hello, and then talk with physician, hey, I'm ill. Okay, let's assume that you are physicians. You will be like, you are ill? Okay, so okay, if you're physicians, you're not gonna know how to take care of this patient, right? It's like, okay, you are ill. That is the only piece of information I have. And okay, I'm gonna give you like the paracetamol, and that's it. I'm gonna give you like, but are you sure that that is the right way? So you see that it is not accurate at all, right? If you don't have any data, you cannot make an accurate decision. That's the point. That is the usage of the data, the key usage of the data. I didn't say that this is the only way to use data. You can also use data for many purposes. For example, um, a law, especially the privacy law, they ask you they will ask you as a application developer that you need to keep data for years. Even though you don't use it, you still need to keep data, right? So you need to have some data on hand. Okay. But I would say that your main goal is to the main goal for having data is to make an accurate decision. Well, but things that you need to accept is that most of the time raw data is often not useful. What do I mean by this? Let's say you have a list of salaries of um people in Thailand. You have like a millions records of salaries of people in Thailand. Okay, based on the list, only the list. You do not do anything with it. Okay, as soon as you do not do anything with it, you just see the list of millions data. How? Uh, what are you going to get from it if you only have a list of millions data? You're not gonna get anything. And million data, you need to a lot of time to read. So at least based on the data, based on the raw data, you may want to analyze it or process it or transform it. I use three words now: analyze, process, transform. Those are pretty similar words in the database field, but they have like some different meanings as well, right? Analyze means that uh you want to break down things into smaller pieces and you find relationship between those smaller pieces. That is the meaning of analyze. Um, process we have learned in the last semester, right? To transform from input to another output, which is pretty similar to the word transform as well. But based on the raw data, you may want to analyze them in order to gain insights. I love the word insight. Insight is a secret source of the data. It's not a secret source. It is like a piece of useful information. For example, okay, I have a list of millions. I have a list of salaries gathered from millions Thai people. I find I find like a means. I find an average of them. Okay? Now, I got an average, maybe perhaps like it is to 20K per month. Okay? 20K per month. Now, given the 20K per month, is this a good information? I don't know. It depends, right? Let's say if we want to, um, let's say if my goal is to see whether um the salary of Thai people is suitable or not, I will need to have more data, right? To compare whether this to 20K Thai baht per month is suitable or not. I need to have more information, right? But yeah, given the insights, now you can make some decisions or you can answer some questions more accurately, right? Another example, let's say if I ask you what will be a weather today, the thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna check out your weather applications, right? But those weather applications, the basis are raw data. So they gather the history, so they gather like a historical logs for each like of the actual weather for like so they put on a lot of sensors around the world and they gather like precipitation, humidities, temperature, and the actual weather at that moment. Right? They gather a lot of data all around the world. Those data itself, they are not that useful. If you want to answer the questions, what will be a weather today? You need to analyze it and you need to use raw data to predict the future. And that is to gain information or insight based on the raw data, right? You process it, you analyze it, you gain insight. If you want to analyze in order to gain insight in the future, the word the analysis level here, we are call it predictive analysis. We are analyzed to gain an insight that will occur in the future. Okay, predictive analysis. You can use many if you want to do predictive analysis, there are a lot of way. Most of them currently we are using machine learning. tools. For example, you could use like linear regressions. What else? You could use um deep learning, right? You could also use a lot of statistical models to predict the future, right? In this case, this is pretty similar. Based on the raw data that you have, you apply you process it with your predictive analytics techniques in order to gain information and insight. So let's say the information and insight that we get is, oh, it's gonna be snowing at 2 p.m., snowing at 4 p.m., and it will not be snowing at 6 p.m. Okay, cool. It answered my questions. But let's see. Given the insight, I know that it will be snowing until 6 p.m., right? So let's say if I am outside right now and I do not have any snow protection based on the insight that I have, I know that I need to leave after 6 p.m. Otherwise, I need to encounter snow. See? And that is a piece of knowledge that I gain from the insight plus the context, my own context. Okay? So you can see that data, data allows you to make a decision, an accurate decisions, a more accurate decisions. It is not 100% accurate always, right? But it is more accurate when you have data, when you use data. Let's say if you want to build a business, right? You have like five products. You have five product lines. Okay, you keep selling it without looking at data. How would you know whether um they're gonna be a product line, one of the product lines that make you lose your money, right? You need to look at the data and then analyze it. This is why data is very important, especially if you have a lot of data. A lot of data, you can make those decisions more accurately, right? Like for example, think about what weather forecast. If you only have in Thailand, we only have a few sensors. Is it accurate? Sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, no. In the States, we have tons of sensors putting around across the globe. It's a lot more accurate than Thailand. So, which means more data can allow us to make a better decision making, right? But you know, given that we have a lot of data, we need the place to store it, right? And we also need to deal with like a large scale storage. Like, imagine that you are in like imagine imagine you find a book you find a book, a certain book in your house at your home. You may think that okay, I'm gonna take an hours to find a book. But let's say if you need to find a book in um the old bookstore, in the antique bookstore that they are not organized your book. They are not organizing the book. So the book are scattered around. That would take days, right? I mean, in worst case, in the best case, you could like see, oh, the first book in the front of in front of the store, you can pick it, right? But in worst case, it may take days, even months, right? These are the same things. The more data you have, the more difficult you're gonna find the data of interest, right? Let's say you have 5 petabyte of data, in which this is from the previous slide that they are saying that when they do the weather forecast, when they do the weather forecast task, they need to collect 5 petabytes per year annually, which is a lot, right? Let's say they keep like 5 petabytes in one place. Data are scattered around. Let's say if you want to find tomorrow, you want to forecast weather tomorrow. Okay, at least you only need to have like maybe like data of a month before, and that's it. You don't need like the entire 5 petabyte. But if the data is scattered around, you still need to search for all of them, right? In order to get like all the data in the duration of interest, right? In the period of interest. You still need to go through all of them. And you know what? 5 petabyte of data with a typical computer, it would take months. Month. It would take months. Months. But we want the answer tomorrow. So how do we achieve it? You know, a trick which is important, which will be a very important theme of this course, is to organize the data. I would talk about data organization a lot and a lot and a lot because this is a very important theme of the course. The key solution, one. So to be frank, organizing data is not the only cause. Oh, sorry, it's not the only solution. Another solution is that, okay, your computer sucks. Just buy supercomputers. Okay, supercomputer could accelerate this by 100 times. So instead of 2 months, 2 minutes, 60 days, right? You could have it within 0.6 day. Oh, 0.6 days within a day. So you can still deliver tomorrow forecast. But would it be better if you just organize it? So let's say your data are scattered like this, then you organize it. So the orange data is the data of interest. Now you just need to, okay, jump to A and then scan A, B, and C. That's it. You only need to scan some of them. You reduce the time a lot, right? From 60 days, you may reduce it into 5 minutes, an hour or an hour, right? This is a key. You don't need to have a very good computer as well. You just need to have the same, just need to use the same computers, but you organize the data in a proper organization. You need to have a strategies. See? And that we move from the word data to database. Because the word database is actually just an organized collection of data. So the difference between the word data and database is just that data is just data. Database is you organize them so that you are you can use it easily. All right. So the proper definition is that a database is an organized collections of structured information or data typically stored electronically in a computer system. I don't like this long-winded uh definitions. Also, when you see the word typical, it means that it's not every time, right? It's just like, oh, most of the time it's stored electronically in the computer system. Also, many times database, some database are not a structured information as well. So for me, it is just an organized collection of data. So this definition I got it from the Oracle Oracle website. Oracle is a company building the first relational database management system, the first commercial relational database management system, in which we're going to cover it in lecture 4 or 5, right? Well, some fun fact. I think last 2 months or 3 months, someone dethroned Elon Musk, from being number one richest person. That guy, his name is Riley Ellison. Some of you may not heard about him, but me, I I know him a lot. I didn't personally know him, but me personally, I know him a lot because he's a co-founder of Oracle. He's a database guy, you know. I personally don't like his lifestyle, but no, he just reached by creating this database company. So the richest person come from the database company. See this, and this is uh what I want to say. So in Thailand, people people tend to not focus a lot on database, which is a very important data infrastructures. And that's why I still feel so bad that I want to get a PhD from database so that I can get back to Thailand and then teach you guys. and then like start building, like start making a good awareness of that database is very important. You should not look you should not like you should not look away from it, you know. But well, another fun fact, I believe Musk will perhaps dethrone Larry Ellison from his pay package from Tesla anyway. So yeah, but still, Larry Ellison is very, very rich, you know. He's very rich. So that's the definition of database. Now you know database. This course is all about databases. We're talking about databases in three different angles. Um, the first angle is as an application developer. Many applications all around the world, whether it is mobile applications, your games, what else? Yeah, a lot of things. They have database technologies inside of them. Most of them, 99% of the applications of an application that have users, they have database technologies. They use database technologies. So if you want to develop an application, you need to know how to use those database technologies. And this course will give you that. Another one, not many courses in Thailand teach you this, but this will give you an edge over other people in Thailand. I'm going to teach you the system perspective of the database technologies as well. So that at least you know how it's work, you know, how it works. Okay, so okay, if I know how it works, then what what I'm gonna do with this piece of knowledge? You know, when you go to the industry or maybe you want to build your own applications, there will be a question that there will be a question that which kind of technology you want to use, right? You need to design. You need to design. And I told you that to design accurately, you need informations, right? You need a lot of informations. This part, you give you informations, all the information, so that you can decide the choice of technologies that you are going to use. And you know you also can you also be able to analyze the future trend as well of what will be the next step of the database technologies. This part will tell you that. And let me warn you that this part is the hardest part, the most challenging part of this course. Be prepared. Okay. All right, sorry. The last part, this one, is also about administrators. S- Normally, the application developer just use these database technologies, but these database technologies require someone will sit and then check whether it's worked finally or not. Do we need to update it? Do we need to fix this? Do we need to apply this more or not? We're gonna teach you that as well. The reason why we teach you that is because in Thailand, most of the position about database is all administrators, and administrator is also an important task that you still need to do. Okay, even though you are an application developer. So that's why I teach you that this, and it is also important. It's more like a good practices for using database management, for using database technologies, right? So I don't want to talk a lot about this because even though I talk a lot, I'm gonna split a lot of words that you may not understand it now. You so I will leave this slide just this, and then yeah, you will see more details in the futures. Okay. Next is about the evaluation of this course. So I will go through it quickly. We have a lot of way to evaluate you. Lecture, lab assignment, solo project SP, team project TP, SQL exam, and final exam. So we have two exams. SQL exam will be pretty close to the midterm week, but we want to separate it from the actual midterm week because we would like to use a computer lab. Right. For the final exam, you get into a room and a normal exam room and do the written exams. It will be more on theory. Right. So you need to be well prepared. And my theory exam is very hard. I don't want to say that it is hard. You just need to study. Okay. So this is the way we're gonna translate from your grade into the later grade. So you can see that it is almost the same as in programming, but now B is kind of like narrower, C plus C as well. F is now from 0 to 29 instead of 0 to 9. So so the grade might not be as good as in programming. Let me warn you that. And let me tell you at this point that in programming, yeah, I did like some grade cutoff shift things, but for this course, there will be no grade cutoff adjustment for A and B plus. For B and below, I will try to do the curving. So you don't need to be, I mean, even though I say that you don't need to be worried about the grade, but you need to show us efforts and dedications. Okay. And otherwise, so let me talk, let me put it in this way. I know that some of you may not be interested in this course. You may think that, oh, in the future, I'm not going to touch databases. That is totally fine. But your duty is you just need to pass the course so that you can graduate, right? I don't mind if you're thinking that this course is not important. So just spend enough effort so that you pass this course, right? But for the one who think that this course is important and you will use it in the future, in which if you're working with technologies, you cannot avoid database. That's all I can say. So be focused. Put a lot of effort on it. Okay. Um, in between the lectures, I will give you quiz. Um, so it will be a small quiz that you need to do. It will be accumulated into 5% of your total grade. So it means that you may want to attend the lectures because the quiz will be on site, right? And this quizzes will help you prepare for your final exam because the final exam is quite hard, as I told you before. Right? The lab assignment for each lab, again, we're gonna throw you a lab assignment and you need to complete it. So last semester, I believe that the lab was a little bit not a little bit, the lab was chaotic. So I would like to give a more concrete rule. You need to submit the lab within the noon, 12 p.m. The lab start at 9 a.m., right? And end at 11 a.m. So we give you 1 hours extra to complete the lab. I talk with all the TA that the lab this time must be designed to be completable in the sessions, or each lab assignment must be able to be complete within a single hours. As a typical students, not as an instructors. So, but still, I mean, we use our lens. If you think that this lab is too long, just tell us, okay? Tell us so that we can reduce the workload and make sure that you can finish it within the noon or act. Well, my intention is you should be able to finish it before 11 a.m. Okay? The assignment will be created up to 100%. The point is that no late submission is acceptable unless you have a very good reason. Okay, unless you cannot attend the lab because of you have like your duty, you are ill, you are sick, you have like your personal issues. Totally fine, but tell me, okay? Oh, okay, this is also important. Any problems you encounter, don't ask TA, okay? Especially the personal issues. Just email to me. I will be the one who decide whether I can give you, I will give you an allowance or not. Right? You can talk with TA as well if you don't care about your privacy, right? But if you really need, but if you want to like have some extension because of your personal issues, email me, okay? I I guarantee that I will not expose your private information to the others. Okay? Um, we'll talk about next. We're gonna talk about SP Solar Project. Last semester, you work as a pair. I know that there's a lot there's a lot of comments, feedbacks, that sometimes you get a pair that you don't want to work with. Uh, what I want to say is sometimes you cannot choose your life, but this time, for fairness, you will be working individually on the solo project, which account to 20% of the total grade, which is a lot, right? There are four solo projects, 5% per project. I distribute it evenly. Some of them will be auto-graded through big grade, so you will still need to get stuck with big grade. Okay, if you don't like big grade, I'm sorry, but please feel free to give us feedback so that I can improve it. Right. So there will be four projects, as I told you. The first one is you need to build a library, a modules, a Python modules. Last semester you did it, right? This time you will do it. So as a hint, the project one is pretty similar to the last to the module number two in the final exam that I believe that only one student nailed it. Okay, it will be very similar, but given at that time, you need to face the time limit. This time, I give you weeks to complete it, and I allow you to ask me and TA as well. So I believe that you can do it if you put on enough effort and you are will to learn on how to do it. Okay. Project two, you will build a database application. You will build an applications like imagine the hackathon last semester that you build an application. I don't I don't require you to build a web applications or mobile application. It can just be like a CLI interface, a command line UI. I'm fine with that. But you need your applications, your software, your program need to interact with the database technologies. Okay. I will give you the requirements once again. Right. The project number three is about logical database design. So this is a part that you need to um I would say that project three is more like a homework than a project, but you will learn how to design, conceptually design the database, right? Logically design how would you organize your data in a logical way, okay? They will be in the physical way in which we will learn it in the lectures. And the last one, perhaps gonna be the hardest one. I mean, for me, project one of it's either project one or four that is the hardest. Okay. Number four, this is a new project. Um, you will implement a database technologies, a small one, but you will need to implement it entirely. This is you need like sometimes dedicated for the project here. Okay. Well, for SP, the checkout is back. So you would need to do a checkout, but since we only have four SP, so you only need to do four checkout this semester. So it's like more than a half lesser than what we had in the last semester, right? Um this time for fairness, you are not allowed to pick TA for checking out. You are allowed to pick time slot, but you are not allowed to pick TA. We will not export who will be in which slot. Okay. Also, for the checkout, we're gonna give you a multiplier to the grade. Now there are only three multipliers: good, pass, and fail. Good is x1, pass is 0.5x, fail is zeros. Um, the checkout will be easier to get good than the good that we than the requirement of the good last semester. Okay, so I expect most of you to get good, some of you to get pass. If you really cannot answer any questions, unfortunately, we need to give you fail. But even though we give you fail, we allow you to do recheck out, or we're gonna give you a task for you to record a video to answer the question that you missed in the checkout. So we will be the one who asks you to do either of this. Okay. And if you do it and we are satisfied with your answers, you can you can get back to the past, but you'll not be able to get the good grade. Okay. Another one, TP, and this cover 25% of your grade, which is the huge part rather than the final exam. You'll be develop a database applications to solve or mitigate a real world problems. This is pretty similar to the hackathon, right? But now it's not some applications. We want an application that use database technologies, and we will you will get a chance to try this by yourself in project two. But from project two, the scale of this team project need to be significantly larger. Okay. Um, and also, I just don't want you to just develop an application and that's it. I would like you to learn a good practice to develop applications, database application now. So there will be there will be a systematic approach that we would like you to follow, right? I mean, okay, you may have different opinions than mine that hey, this approach is not good, but I would like you to try this approach first. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, then in the future you don't need to use this approach. Okay. So it's more like I just want you to try this out. Try following this step first. Then you decide whether you love it or not. I mean, if you haven't tried, how do you know whether this is good or bad? Right? So I will give you a process that you need to follow, the development process that you need to follow. Right. We're gonna talk more about this after the new year. Next, SQL exam, the first exam, you can treat it as your midterm exam. Okay. So it will happen before your midterm exam week. We already flesh out the schedule, so you just need to check the schedules on the specific dates, right? It will be done on site in a computer lab, as I told you. This will be pretty similar to the programming exam we had last semester. Last one is the final exam week. The final exam. We focus on tech theory, but you need to know, understand every single pieces in this course if you want to nail it. Okay. But good news, it is an open book exam. But bad news is they put the open book exam is means that there will be no answer in any slides or any sheet. That's why I allow you to bring anything into the room, right? So it will be written on the papers this time. Okay. As I tell you, it can be hard if you don't understand the lectures. Understand and remember things are two different things. Remember, it's pretty easy, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You just remember. You find a way to remember it, right? You may use a trick of singing a song to remember it. It doesn't help in this course because if you just remember it, useless. You cannot answer my question because I'm not gonna ask you what is this? What is database? You're not gonna see this kind of questions. I mean, I did put this question in your senior students exam, but you're not gonna see it here, right? So you cannot just remember things. You at least need to understand because most of my question will be like, Pum is walking on the street. He would like to try this strategy A, B, C. He found that we here apply strategy A. His application is suddenly slower. Why? I'm gonna ask you this, and then I'm gonna ask you, okay? Then how would you solve it? And that will be in the exam. You cannot just, strategy A is I'm doing this, and this. If you only remember that, it's gonna help you because you need to understand and you need to be able to compare and contrast three different strategies in order to answer that. Hey, this is a reason why, and this is what you should do to solve it. Like understand the lectures. The trick for me to understand thing is that you need to be able to Find an example on your own and then apply it, right? For example, when you learn addition, when you learn additions, right? If you just remember that 1 plus 1 equal to 2, how would you solve 2 plus 1 equal to 3? How would you solve 2 plus 1? You are able to solve different problems because you understand that plus is to add two values together, right? So this is the meanings of understand. You cannot just remember that 1 plus 1 is 1, which is 2. You need to know that, oh, plus is to add two values together. So when we do 1 plus 1, it means that we try to add 1 with 1 and we get 2. That's the point. So I believe that many of you are growing up by remember things in order to get pass the exam. Well, in your life, there will not be a lot of multiple choice exam anymore, right? After you graduate, you're not going to see an explicit exam anymore. It will be whether you understand the thing or not, right? So take this time in the universities to train your brain, right? To exercise your brain you so that you are you are good at logical thinking, critical thinking. Okay. Cost resources. I don't want to talk a lot about this because you know them already. Forum, Big Grade, Big Q, and Cost website. Boom is developing a system called Big Lab. So he just want to do it. So I let him do it. Okay. I believe that he is gonna use it in the lab. So since he will be the one who developing it, then I will let him introduce to you what it is. Right. The policy similar to the last semester, English only. You all know in this class you need to strictly speak English. Okay. I know that we put on like some uh what do you call we put on some allowance for some of you because I know last semester because we know that this is just your first semester, but in this course we strictly not allow you to speak English with us in both lecture and lab and check out. Okay. But what I want to say is treat this as an opportunity. This will be a safe place for you to practice your English because all of us are non-native English speaker. We know about how hard to learn English from scratch. We know about especially the one that who believe that your English is not perfect. We understand you a lot. We don't mind if you just flesh out and not like English that is not understandable. We will try to help you out, but you need to use take this opportunity to try communicating in English. English or language learning, you will be master in language only if you train a lot, you use it a lot, right? You use it, it will help your muscle to remember the things, right? It's all about muscle memories. English is all about muscle memory. Like you learn Thai, you learn all the languages. It's all about muscle memory. It's all you remembers. You make your muscle remember patterns, right? So we don't mind. We totally do not mind if your English is not perfect at all. Speak up, okay? I encourage you to speak up as much as possible. Try it out. At least for this semester, after this semester, I believe that many of you will improve your English a lot if you take this chance. Okay. AI coding policy, we talk about it a lot, but what I want to say is I don't allow you to use AI to aid your coding. You may use AI to debug your program, that's fine. Because this is still a foundational course, right? In working, I don't mind to use for you to use it, but I still want you to learn the debugging by your own. If you write a lot of your code, you will get a chance, you will notice patterns so that you can write the code faster and faster. Also, you will get a sense of how should you improve this program. You get a sense of where to find the bug. And this by using AI, you're not gonna learn that, right? Unless there is an exception that we give you, okay? This is important. No cheatings. Um, Last semester, I'm not that serious about this, but this semester I will be very serious about this. Okay. This is one thing that I don't like. Cheatings. Um, what do you mean by cheatings? You must not discuss the assignment with your friends. You can only discuss high-level ideas. For example, you don't understand the questions, you ask your friend. That is fine. You but you're not allowed to sit with your friend and code for them. Okay. You may, okay, why don't you try this idea? That is still fine, right? But if you do something like that, let's say, okay, you give your code your friend, you give the code to your friend, you you sit together and you work together on it. This is not allowed as well, okay? At least effort be given. At least, which means at most, I will report to the school. Okay. And I don't care, right? If you are not sure how much you can discuss, ask TA. We have five TAs, including me, it's six, right? Or ask on forum. Okay. Because we are monitoring the forum. So we kind of like know which question is proper, which question is not proper. So if you believe that this question is it's risky. You're not sure whether you should discuss this with your friend or not. Ask it on forum. If it's not a good let's say if it's not a good questions or it's seem to be cheatings. We will not we will not like mark you as cheaters, but we're gonna say that oh this question is too risky. So can you please like I will we may want to take down your question, something like that. But yeah, if you just do these two things, there will be no um you it it means that you are not committing a cheat. You're not committing cheating. Lastly, grace day. Um, for this course, throughout this course, we give you 3 grace days for submitting the solo and the team project flag. For the team project, all of you need to use grace day, right? If you want to submit 1 day late for the project, it means that all of you, we need to spend 1 grace day on it. Okay. You need to maintain these grace days at your risk. If you grace days are running out, then you will be deduct 25% per day instead. Alright, but note that dealing with important stuff or you get like some urgent issues, personal issues that is very critical, it doesn't count. Tell me, but you need to tell me. Otherwise, I am not like an oracle or like a predictor that I would know that you encounter those stuff, okay? But at least you need to talk with me, right? That's it for the course introduction and the definition of database. Right. See you tomorrow in the lab. Bye.